Gonna rock, rock, rock this here Christmas with a whole lot of schlock, so you don't wanna miss this. We making history with the gory story, part 4 and 5. Silent Night,
It's Deadly Night.
yo, that's right. Part 4 and 5. Silent Night.
It's Deadly Night.
So hit that bell, click that like, leave a comment and subscribe. Schlock, 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 and we out. That's how we rock. That's how we rock.
Well, season schlockings, everybody. I am Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson, and with me in person,
Chris Anonymous.
we got
Hey.
together today. Normally, we're like on Zoom, we're states apart. But
Hours and hours.
This is our Christmas special, so we had to get together and do this. We are talking about the final 2 movies of the Silent Night, Deadly Night series in a 2-part series. So we're going to be releasing it this week, the one that you're watching now, and then wait another week. I don't know. Should we release it Christmas Eve, Christmas?
Well, sometime around Christmas, you're going to get the second half of this episode. So it's an hour-long episode. We're breaking it in 2. You're getting one next week, and then you're getting one as a Christmas present.
Yeah, so from us to you. So please come and join us as we talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night, parts 4 and 5.
Yep. So, yeah, the structure is going to be a little different this time.
Yeah, it's going to be
We're going to talk about 4 and 5, what we didn't like, what we did like, kind of some of the Web of Schlock, some factoids about it, different things. And then in part 2, we're going to focus on everything schlock, and then we're going to finish it all up at the end of part 2 with kind of a recap of what we think about the whole series.
And just in case you haven't seen the other movies, we're going to put up a playlist of parts 1, 2, and 3, and then eventually 4 and 5 to follow along with this, because we want you to see what is actually like a really crazy series.
Yeah, this is bizarre.
So should we jump into it? Part 4, the initiation, or just initiation.
Yeah.
What the hell is this movie about? What's going on here?
Right? Yeah, I don't really know. It's not a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. It says it is.
It's it right in the titles.
Right.
It does.
The plot has nothing to do with it. And again, I'm fine. Like in Halloween 3. I love Halloween 3.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Is my second favorite Halloween.
Right.
Halloween and then Halloween 3.
And then it gets rid of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Completely. So part 3,
yeah.
Part 4 of Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Gets rid of Ricky, maybe.
Which is so weird because if you saw in our last video, we mentioned that
the
part
producers
4 was supposed to be
part 3.
So very, very odd.
Very odd.
So tell us real quick, how, if at all, these movies are connected and who is in them.
So, there's some similar producers running through. It's a new director, new cast. But, yeah, this is leftover stuff from part 3 that didn't make it, or they changed part 3 and decided to go with that. I don't know what's going on. So with Halloween 3, it still was Halloween. It still took place at Halloween. It was still a spooky Halloween movie.
Did it take place in the Haddonfield?
I can't remember. No? I think it did, but
I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. I remember the song. So this, my big complaint is not that Ricky's not in it. It's that it's not really a Christmas movie.
Right.
It takes place supposedly at Christmas, but it's L.A., so it could be any time of year. And they have one scene where there's a Christmas tree and they talk about Christmas, but other than that, it's not Christmassy.
It's inconsequential that it's Christmas, other than that it the deed that she has to do by the end might need to be done by Christmas, because they do mention winter solstice.
Okay.
So
that should have been played up more.
All you winter solstice Wiccan people out there, I don't know. Is that the same day? I don't know. So we should probably mention spoilers.
Yeah.
Ahead. Spoilers for
not this movie.
everything.
This movie, every movie, you have no idea what we're going to bring up.
So what this movie is about, it's about witches.
Yes.
I mean,
It's kind of a cool story.
it is, and I think it would have been a cool story had it not
Been Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
exactly.
It would well, and the interesting thing is that the first title you see is Initiation, and then it comes in with Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
Right.
Like, this movie is not Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's Initiation.
And it's all trippy and weird. So we're trying to stay on track here and not get into schlock too bad. But real quick, the director...
Okay, Brian Yuzna. I'm probably
Yuzna?
butchering his name, but you mentioned you saw a movie, one of his first movies, Society.
Society. Very, very weird movie.
Yeah, and he was involved in several other horror movies. I think it was the sequels to the Reanimators.
I think he did Bride of Reanimator right before this.
So the only other person I really want to mention, and we'll get back to Brian, is Clint Howard, which he's amazing. We talked about him in Ice Cream Man. I love this guy.
Yeah. Big disappointment.
Big
that
that he was
not-
underutilized. He's not
Yeah.
the main character.
Yeah.
He's barely in it. I like him in it. Kind of.
And he's maybe not the character that we hope he is. At the
Yeah.
end of Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, we talked about how there is a potential for Ricky to have survived once again. When we come into Part 4, we see this homeless man played by Clint Howard whose name is Ricky. That's kind of the only connection we get. The only other connection we get is during a very odd sex scene. He comes into the bedroom and sits down.
This is one of my goods.
And he watches part
three,
three,
which is a very meta thing. But so my favorite thing about the first three movies is that they rehash. Let's do the bad and good.
Yeah,
Okay.
you start. You got it, buddy.
Okay, this is my bad. Ricky's underutilized. I'm not sure if he's Ricky from the other movies, and this is not a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. Some of the acting is god awful. Some of the writing is really bad, but that's my bad. There's a lot I like about this movie. I like the story. That scene there. So in all the other the first three movies, you get lots of footage from the first movie. And I'm like, well, are they going to keep with that theme? And so Ricky is watching Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 on TV, and then he like mugs to the camera and then like chuckles and says "Killer Santa."
Yeah,
which is a fun homage.
Yeah, so meta. So clearly it can't be the same Ricky.
Unless they made a movie about him. Yeah, it can't be, or it is. I don't know. The other thing that I love about this movie is the body horror. Oh, the special effects are awesome.
Totally
I gotta mention the special effects guy. I think his name's Screaming Mad George.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Dude is awesome. Some of the sequences in this are so cool, and this is a really trippy movie.
Yeah. So I don't know if he did the special effects for Society. Brian Yuzna, his one of his previous movies, but man, did they sure look
similar,
the same. Like they.
I think
like
he did do it. I have to look it up again, but I think he did do it. But yeah, it's crazy. The giant bugs, the crawly creatures, things melting. It goes into soft focus. Things are getting trippy. This is a visual feast.
Yeah, for sure. And that would go into my good about it. Like I did think it was actually probably a pretty good movie if it wasn't like as we said before, it's not a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. It's like a subgenre of horror, the witch initiation process. Like we have it in Lords of Salem, The Witch, Hereditary. I'm sure there's just tons of other movies.
Witchiation.
Witchiation?
Yeah. Witch initiation. Witchiation.
Yeah. I think that's a new movie.
Yeah.
I think that's out there. And so there are pretty cool... Well, there's a lot of great imagery in this movie. Like, they have the spiral theme that goes throughout.
Oh, yeah. There's that cool shot where she's standing on the roof and, like, there's a spiral.
So that kind of leads me into a little bit of bad. What a terrible investigator. Yeah. Right? There's spirals.
Well, she's not a professional.
Everywhere. Yeah,
she does classified ads. She wants to step up her game, and she is an awful reporter.
investigating.
I mean, she had, this is a good story. You should follow it. But, like, man, her investigation is awful.
So, there are just a lot of parts that weren't very believable to me. That's kind of it. Like, I mean,
Character motivations, character behavior, very stock, very unbelievable.
She was clearly drugged, and I think it's like pretty obvious, like who she was drugged by, and she like keeps going to these people, and I don't know. It was just so weird, but it really kind of falls in line with that genre of movie, that sort of trippy movie. Yeah. So I don't know. I think in the end, I didn't like the main actress, the way she portrayed the character. I didn't think
there
she was
were parts I liked in
likable.
it, but it was very everywhere.
Well, she talked really loud in a lot of places. I was like, why are you yelling? Why are you talking like this?
Everyone was really weird, and I think they just could have built the motivation up better, like the witchy librarian.
Yeah.
Just so, what a bizarre character.
Yeah. Well, and her motivation was good, but it wasn't established well enough.
There's so many ways, and again, I'm sure it's budgetary and time, but there's so many ways you could have made this a really good movie, and it just wasn't. It was a really good concept. Okay execution, and you lose a lot of points because you called it Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
Right. So, let's get into 5.
Okay.
So we've gone even farther off the rails.
Yes.
Because we in part 4 we go into like a sort of not quite supernatural. Like I said, I think a lot of it can be attributed to drugs. But in part 5. Well, does it go all the way into the supernatural?
No,
or is
it's
like
android robotics.
Or it goes into sci-fi?
It goes into sci-fi. So I would say part 4 goes into supernatural a little bit, and part 5 goes into sci-fi a little bit.
Okay.
So Web of Schlock, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you have any factoids to begin with, or should I go into Web of Schlock?
Just that it was written by Brian Yuza.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of carryover.
Let's talk about Brian Yuza, and let's talk about the director, Martin Kittrosser. So Martin Kittrosser directed a couple things, and then he went on to be the script supervisor for every Tarantino movie, which would be an awesome job.
For real?
For real.
Wow.
He's still doing it. I'm like, man,
right,
that's
stepping up.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Tarantino's like, you know what? Silent Night, Deadly Night 5 is awesome. I want you as my script supervisor.
This guy's got it. Yeah.
Co-written by the director, Martin, and the director of the previous film, who was a producer in this, Martin Yesna, who has story credit.
Brian,
Yesna. Martin is the new director.
Got you guys.
My bad. So Brian Yesna has story credit with another horror icon, Stuart Gordon. They wrote the story for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I was going to say From Beyond.
Yes, From Beyond.
Okay.
But that's just a little more normal. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you see people go from like such extremes.
Well, and
I think that showcases probably some real talent.
I mean, but you look at a lot of like Spielberg is a good example. I mean, he started out with horror. Jaws, the one where the
with the dinosaurs.
I was thinking of the vehicle, Maximum Overdrive. No,
Duel.
Yes, Duel.
Right.
Thank you. But yeah, so I mean, there's that idea of I think in the 70s where horror didn't feel as B, right? It felt like it could be a movie. It's just a genre that can be A, B, C, D, whatever grade. And it feels like in the 80s, horror kind of got pushed down to like lesser quality. But like these people, they're not just about horror or sci-fi. They're well-rounded people who want to tell all these really cool stories. And so you have these horror and these sci-fi things, and when you put it in a kid's form, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that makes sense. Like it tracks. It's surprising, but it tracks. So the only other thing in Web of Schlock is Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney, which I got some words for you, Mickey Rooney.
He's passed on, so be kind.
I'll be kind. So as we said long ago, he did not particularly care for the first Silent Night, Deadly Night. He said it was, I don't know, like a...
He wanted to run him out of town.
Yeah, he said that they desecrated a sacred holiday.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bandwagon-y move.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. That was a Killer Santa movie or a horror Christmas flick, right?
Right.
And he signed up. So the word is that he didn't know it was going to be a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie. And he signed up for a different movie. But the thing is, he still signed up for a horror-themed Christmas movie. And so, I don't know. It seems a little self-righteous to me.
Yeah.
But I think he did a great job. And who better to play like a weird, crazy,
loved it,
short toy maker?
Yeah. Let's get into the good and bad. You want to start with your good and bad?
Yeah. Well, I mean, while we're on characters, I'll start with bad.
Okay.
So crossover characters or carryover characters from part 4, we have Kim,
who's the same name,
same actress,
same name. So is it the same character? Yeah, Neith, which is a cool name.
Well, she alludes to she says something like, "You don't know the crazy things that I've been through,"
which I like. Carry-on characters, but go ahead.
And then we also have the kid Lonnie, who I think is the Brian Yuzna's son.
I do believe, yeah.
His name's Conan Yuzna, whatever the last name is. Yuzna.
Conan Yuzna. That's cool.
I'm gonna get it. So I think that's his kid, and we have a Clint Howard appearance
as a guy named Ricky, but he clearly is not the Ricky from 4, which is clearly not the Ricky from 3,
because he's playing a Santa.
I can clearly not choose the Ricky in front of me.
So I just thought that was so weird. Like I understand bringing actors over. Like think of like American Horror Story, where every season like they carry over a lot of actors, but they're different characters.
Totally different characters.
And I think that would have worked a lot better than just putting this question to the audience to just make them go.
I like the idea of bringing the lead of a previous movie to be a secondary character in a new movie, but you've got to actually run with it. It can't just be like, are they? Aren't they?
Right.
Yeah. So I agree with you.
So
that is a bad.
We had some more, even deeper meta things because they reference the Killer Santa again. Like I think they hear that clip.
I'll talk about that in my good and bad.
So they watch something, I think, or they hear it, and they hear Ricky from the previous movie saying Killer Santa. So in that world, so I think I just answered my own question. They're not the same characters because in that world, the previous movie is a work of fiction.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You got that for Schlock?
Yep.
All right, we'll go on Schlock. And my last bad thing is, well, I don't know. The Joe pedo, which it should have been like pedo, like pedophile, maybe.
It's Geppetto.
Yeah, Joe pedo.
Yeah, and then Pino's Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Spoiler alert! Pinocchio's a Pinocchio robot.
Word to Megan, she puts that stuff together a lot quicker than I do, but she called it immediately. She's like, "Oh, his kid's a toy."
Yep.
And so I think it was cool, but in hindsight, it was a little on the nose. But if you're going to do something like that, maybe you got to be on the nose. The good is that I really do like the concept. I think that they could have baked in the tragic toy maker a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool idea and a good theme, and it just comes in too late.
Yeah,
but it is good.
Yeah, they just could have seeded that in a lot better. But very cool, and I was very surprised by the end. So surprised like, oh, this is actually enjoyable. Not surprised like I didn't see it coming.
Right.
So good and bad.
Good and bad. I'm going to start with the bad. The acting, again. Not every actor, but the acting is pretty bad. Some of the motivations, some of the story beats are put in at the wrong time, like you said, with the theme of the toy maker who lost his son. And
the twist with the estranged father.
Yeah.
Like when that came, I knew some twist was going to happen. I just didn't know.
And it was just like so matter of fact and like, he's mine, isn't he? And it
Yeah.
just came out of nowhere. Like, you really could have baked that in, because I had no idea.
She's really not mourning the death of her husband. At
No,
all.
which she had to love. Even if she didn't love him as much as her
like him a little
boyfriend, she had to like him a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so the good. Mickey Rooney. Just...
He did great.
He did great. He was, and that's why some of the acting feels so bad, is because he is so good. Again, we've seen that in a lot of horror movies. You talked about, you get one or two really talented actors, and you have some other actors who they wouldn't be that bad except for they're in a scene with this just brilliant actor, and you're like, oh. So he's my good. Screaming Mad George is back in this one, and man, I love his stuff in this. So my favorite thing are the toys and the kills.
Yeah, you liked it?
I could have went for more. They weren't perfect, but like that first kill with the Santa with the arms and the evil face and the ball.
But that didn't really kill him, though. He like kind of killed himself out of his own.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a thing that I don't like in this movie. Is all the deaths in this movie are magically appear to be accidents. The toys initiate him and probably would have killed the people anyways.
Yeah.
But then, like, it just so happens that fate helps him out. Like, oh, it's a car crash, even though he was already dead.
Right.
Oh, he gets hit by a car on rollerblades, even though the rollerblades did it.
Yeah.
So I think the Santa ball, which looks like the Pokemon ball,
Yep. It sure does.
I think it would have killed him had he not fell on the fire poker.
Yeah.
So
Lucky poker.
yeah, I love the kills, love the toys. This is, to me, what Halloween 3 is. So this is what Initiation should have been. It's not about Ricky, but it's a total Christmas movie. So I can understand calling it Silent Night, Deadly Night.
It makes sense, absolutely.
Yeah, I wish the toy maker, his motivation would have been stronger, and I wish it would have been broader instead of attacking one kid. Like, I'm thinking Batman Returns with the penguin, where it's like, I want these toys to be on the shelf, and every kid wants it and to be fighting for it. Like, everyone wants a Larry the Lava, because I want a Larry the Larva.
Well, the whole we used to live in your house sort of thing.
But I don't know if that's true or a lie, and that's just it's such a weird excuse.
Yeah, well, right. You don't know if it's true or a lie, and we don't really get the real motivation, I guess, in the end.
Yeah.
Maybe
so, yeah.
So I think we're probably running out of time for this one. We're going to be back next week, and we're going to dive into the schlock about these two movies and sort of the overall.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
the
schlock
series
of both these movies, and then we're going to talk about all five. Yeah.
So, yes. Oh, we got something special coming in. Oh, ooh, cookie?
Oh man, I need a Christmas tree.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm Barbie Ellis Lewis Wilson.
Feliz Navidad.
This is Chris Anonymous, and we will see you next week.
Which is right now. This is a cutscene we'll just watch.
Okay.
I am
You can watch us eat.
Compelled by Schlock. Wait, no.